big welcome to our next episode of Empower Her. 22 authors have come together, and today I'm very excited to be introducing Elee Joven, all the way from Guam to California, USA. Elee Joven is a cultural intelligence speaker, advocate, and AI strategist committed to helping individuals embrace their cultural identity as a strength. So today, Elee empowers immigrants, migrants, minorities, and curious global citizens to discover their cultural superpower and thrive across cultures. So a very big welcome to Elee. And that's just a little bit about you because, when they jump into the book, they're going to find out so much more. But today we're going to have some conversations to dig in a little bit deeper. So how are you?
I'm doing great, Catherine. Thank you. It's Sunday here. It's past 5 p.m. And yeah, just happy.
Ready to go. You've been around the world this year so far. Bali, you were in Dubai with us for the book launch, then
Yep.
back to Bali and back to California. Your chapter is chapter 15 on page 157. And it is the cultural compass. And so you are sharing with us this huge story. Oh my gosh. When I started to read it, Elee, it's quite incredible. So let me introduce the cultural compass, leading with the authenticity across the world. This is what Elee does. So her quote at the start is, "Your cultural background is your compass. Navigate authentically and build bridges where others see barriers."
Mhm.
So I love that. And you say your journey has taken you across 29 countries and counting, from your birth on the tiny island of Guam all the way to the
Yes.
boardrooms of California. And this is where you are now. So I'd love to, I'm just going to read one little part from the book and then I would love to
Sure.
start our question time. So that's the culture you grew up with in Guam, where
Mhm.
open communication about life and challenges were not normal. And so I toughened, I toughened it out internally. Life in the USA is constantly moving and fast paced compared to life on the islands. By then, I had four children and was the breadwinner in the family. So, wow, let's just go back to then. Four
Yeah.
children. When I read that, I was like, wow, like I know you, I've met you in two different countries, I think, probably multiple times. And I never, ever, ever imagined that you had four children and was the breadwinner. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the thing that the story with this is that I became a very young mom, completely unplanned. I got pregnant at 17. And when I became pregnant, I was just like confused and just honestly, I was pretty upset at myself as well because I never planned on like having kids that early on. That was like the last on the list. I wanted to go to school and buy my house and just travel and get a good career and all that stuff first. But instead, I became a young mom. And by then I was 18. When we moved to California about 6, 7 years later, so I was probably only like 24 years old that time. I still had two kids by then, and then over the next 10 years, following years, but that was when I already had four kids. So my kids at that time were probably the oldest was like in his teens and the youngest was a baby. So during that entire marriage, I was the breadwinner. I did not really think of it as that back then, even though I can see it. But for me, it was just like, I just got to keep going. I got to keep going. But yes, there were difficult times. It's not easy, especially in this state that I live in, because California is probably one of the most expensive states here in the US. So,
Wow. And were
yeah.
you married at the time you came to California?
Yes, yes. So it's funny because I got married in April, and then 4 months later we were relocating. Not once did we have a conversation before we got married that we were moving halfway around the world. That was never brought up. So it was just a complete shock for me as well because I wasn't ready for that. And I was already comfortable in Guam because, you know, that's where the family is at. And Guam is more like a collectivist culture. I mean, the bonds there are just like when you're from an island, there's really not much places to go. You know, you either have to take a boat or a plane to go somewhere. So it's very collectivist. And what I mean by that is being collectivist is one of the dimensions of culture wherein when you make decisions, you don't just only think about how it affects you, but you kind of also think about how it affects your family, even your external other family people, how you even take into consideration how your friends or your work, you know, all that. It's like it's just the culture is there. It's more like about um, being able to have that relationship more extended than normal, what it is considered here
Mm,
in
mm.
California. Yeah.
Wow. And you went on to say that, you started work as well to help provide, and then you left to focus on your studies. And you said, my goal was to launch a shoe brand from what I learned, but instead I faced that instability after graduation. In that summer of 2011, it was the height of the global financial crisis.
Yes.
And I remember the global financial crisis for us. We lost well over $1 million. We nearly lost everything that we owned. It was very, very hard. You quickly depleted your funds, with the ultimate blow resulting in your family and becoming homeless.
Mm, yes. That was wow. Yeah, I think about that not very much, but at the
Mm,
same time, maybe because it was just a hard time and I don't like to think about it, but
yeah.
in reality, it's what shapes us into
Mm,
who we become and what, you know, what the future holds for us, right? So that was completely again, it's just like when I got pregnant, unplanned. I was
mm,
not gonna, you know, what how old was I at that time? I'm not sure, but like I've never really known what does a recession mean, especially a
mm,
global recession.
yeah.
And the odd thing is that I was in that industry. I was working in real estate.
Mm,
I was an underwriter. So you know, it's like when you are in that industry and then that you kind of see it as like playing the big role or part on the collapse of like the financial collapse of like the world almost. It's like, oh my gosh. But at that time, I was in school and, you know, I had high hopes and everything and not realizing the effects. It's like, yeah, you don't have to just be in that one industry where, but it affects everything else. Like, because economy is circular, right?
the
Yeah.
domino effect, yes. And it
Yes.
was horrible. And you
Yes.
go back to talk about these invisible barriers when you finally got back into the workplace. And I
Yeah.
agree with you. Sometimes we don't want to think about the past, but the past is what shapes us. And it also
Yes.
shows us what we never want to happen again, right?
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
so, it creates that strength in us to know how to move forward.
Yep.
And you said that some of the things you were feeling and thinking when you were working really hard and other people were getting promotions and you were missing out. I thought this was really interesting. So I'd love
Oh,
to read this. You said you were thinking, how did that person get the role when they don't even have a college degree? I perform much better than this person, but I know more. This person doesn't even know the difference between their, they, and their. They get along with everybody, and yet I'm still not getting picked. What do these others have that I don't? And my favorite, I just won't and can't suck up to the bosses.
oh my
I
God.
think I
Yes.
think I have felt that before as well. Um, Interesting. And the lesson that you learned here wasn't about the individual leaders who passed me over, but about the failure to recognize cultural intelligence on my part and my
Yes.
perceived belief of my leaders' lack of as well. So tell us about that because you know what?
Oh,
Sometimes when we
this
learn
isn't.
these things, it makes a huge difference because of these stories that we keep telling us that actually hold us back.
I kind of had to admit to myself that yes, I don't like the fact that I was passed over many times, but at the same time, I'm like, it must just be me as well, right? There must be something, especially when it's like things, because I'm thinking like, okay, well, I can spell right. I proofread my emails, I don't just put them out there and all those things, those technical things. And I like kind of like I have this perfectionist mindset of like, okay, I need to know how this is going to affect the next and the next and the next step. But yet I see other people getting above me. So that was more like me. I kept a lot of things inside as well. Like I, I, I I'm not, I don't, people like to say maybe it's being, what is the word when they're ambivert or what's the two differences again? I forget. They are either
Like introvert and extrovert?
introvert or extrovert. There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Yes. So in the US, they're all we like to talk to people. We're like naturally social. I'm saying we now because I am here. But I mean generally speaking, like a lot of people are very social. They like to talk. They talk to strangers. That's not always the case in other countries. Like you talk to a stranger maybe in Europe and they look at you weird, like, is this person okay? Like, who are you, right? So with me, I came from that thinking like I'm not very extroverted. Not only was I not extroverted, but at the same time, it's like I don't like small talk. So a lot of this kind of like social way of being here is also it's because of small talk. And because I'm not that person, like I didn't know how to make my bosses see me as like I'm still capable. And maybe they wanted somebody more who like can talk to more people or get like really show and empathize with everybody. And it's not to say that I don't empathize, I just don't like showing like to the whole world, that kind of thing. So that was my lack of cultural intelligence in that part, wherein some of the norms here in America is definitely not what I grew up with. Like you know, greeting everybody on a Monday morning. Like, I don't do that before. Like, I'm not going to say good morning to everybody. Hey, how's your weekend or whatever, that kind of thing. I mean, maybe I do that now, but not as much. It's not like it's not like I don't want it to be forced. There you go. Like it has to really because I'm really curious. Maybe if I were to converse, it's because I'm really curious. I really want to know, how are you doing? Not how are you doing? Oh yeah, fine. Anyway, so that's just an example of what I mean by that. And it's just um, a lot of people here are also more blunt, right? They can easily speak and say no or yes or just a straight out answer. And where I grew up in, it's not always like that. Like that whole high context way of talking where it's like, yeah, I don't give you all the words, but you can kind of tell by what I'm saying. That's what I mean. So that's the whole difference with cultural intelligence and cultural differences. And of course, now in hindsight, now I know all that. But back then, I don't think of those things.
Mm. I love it. And that's what makes us experts in our fields, is
Yeah.
usually it's because we need something.
Yes.
We need something.
That,
So we
that
learn it
that's what it
so
is.
well
Yeah.
that it makes
I
such a big
suffered.
difference. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lesson learned, ignoring my
Yes.
instincts in favor of external expectations led directly to emotional and a physical breakdown.
Oh,
And we hear of this, and so take us to what age were you then when that came about?
oh boy. I'm trying to remember which part was this. Can you give me a little bit more
Maybe
because I maybe
2013, 13 after the divorce.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Because I'm thinking it's something else, but okay, I'm glad you yes. Oh my goodness, that the sad part is that I got married to somebody who everybody told me, don't do it, don't do it. This is not the person. And I'm kind of like a stubborn person. I'm curious, I want to do things and then I want to prove myself when I make that decision. That's that's the part of it. It's like, okay, well, guess what? Everybody said no, but I will prove you. I'm going to stand by this. Um, I was married for 12 years, and I can pretty much say that I wasn't me during a lot of those years. Despite me being the breadwinner in the family, you would think like I would lay down my foot, right? I didn't. And I instead was the one adjusting to the spouse and to the community and to that side of the family. And my family, even to the point wherein they're like, they don't even know me anymore. They weren't even, they didn't even want to reach out to me anymore because they couldn't recognize me. And yeah, those were dark times. But when I finally learned, like, I had to ask myself, oh my goodness, this is not in the book, but this is one of my biggest things that I love to ask myself. And now it's not
Great.
going to be a secret because I'm going to share it, but I know I'm not the creator of it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I went somewhere and somebody, some coach or some figure said, ask yourself, will you be happy? Just one simple question. Will you be happier in 5 years with or without? That was it. With or without this person, with or without this, whatever, this job, with or without this relationship, with or without this, whatever you have in your house or whatever it is you're doing. And in my case, it was, will I be happier in 5 years with this man or without this man? I already knew the answer. And that was when I said, that's it. I can't do this anymore. Um, and it was just a simple word, happy. I think ultimately that's what many of us, when it comes down to the simplest point, is we just want to be happy in life and healthy, happy, healthy, both of those. Um, so when I finally got out of that marriage, it was like me all over again, back to my, I could be my childhood self again. I could do the things I want to do. I felt more empowered, and it's like not, things weren't holding me back as much anymore. I wasn't too concerned about what others or family or anybody out there was really thinking of. I mean, for the most part, I did a lot of things on my own, and now I'm owning it and I'm happy. I'm just so happy and grateful today.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I don't know about you or our listeners, but I do a gratitude diary. Now it's taken me to 60 to actually do that consistently because I'm grateful for the same things every day, right? This is always grateful. Health, wealth, happiness, faith, family, farm, friends.
Right.
The same thing. So every time I get the book, it's like, well, I'm going to write the same thing because that's what I'm grateful for, right?
And that's why we're continuously getting more because we recognize it. And
Yeah. But I put a
yeah, so
timer on now. I put a timer on for 10 minutes so that I can keep writing now because it's
oh,
just like, that's all I want to say.
that's it.
And then
That's
it's like,
it.
okay, now I've got to get a little deeper. And so other things will come up, different things that happened that day or
Mhm.
whatever that I could be grateful for. So I'm, it's taken a while just to get past the things that every single day I'm going to write down and say that I'm
Yeah.
grateful for. Um, and because you came to a turning point, um, where you started to lead the cultural intelligence, and unfortunately, it was in another crisis. Our global,
Oh,
our what was it? Our COVID crisis,
COVID.
2020. You lost your
Yeah.
mother, your brother, your uncle, all within 3 weeks. Now, I don't know if
Three
anyone
weeks.
has had this happen, but you feel like you're in a daze walking through it. The triple loss created a deep recognition of time's value.
Yes.
And you really started to dig in deep to align, well, what are your values? What am I aligning to? What's this next part of life, I imagine, look look like? So tell us what this turning point was, this breakthrough for you.
Yeah, that was like a reality check, that time is not guaranteed for any of us, sadly. So a lot of people wait and maybe problemize over things or have regrets or postpone a lot of things that they could have done. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. If I was that before, that's not me anymore. And now I see time as I to the point where in almost every day I think like, okay, if something were to happen to me tomorrow or today, what would I be doing today that I really want to do? So that's how much I value time now. So that's why I think I went on this 2 month getaway to Asia and all these other countries. And those were just like decisions made within the last month or two, right? It's not like I planned those a long time ago, and just appreciate it. And it has also opened up like, okay, do I really want to spend time problematizing over something? Or do I really need to keep regretting something that has happened, or maybe even yesterday, whether it's little or small? So each day, appreciate it, appreciate
Yeah.
it, appreciate it. Yeah, because we just never know. And that's really what that whole experience taught me, because my
Mm.
brother was planning, that was when he died, it was 2021, like the second week of 2021. And the previous year, he was planning to go on vacation in the Philippines to see my parents as well, at the towards the end of the year, which of course didn't happen because of COVID. So, it's like, yes, it happened within 3 months of each other. I'm sorry, within 3 weeks of each other, but it's because there were things already planned ahead of that. And so that made me realize it's like, it's just not guaranteed. And
Mm.
so do what you can and don't waste another day. Um, I have something in my wallet. It's like this one saying, and it was from like 2017. And it's all like written. And so it's from like a little calendar. It's like a saying, and it's all crumpled up and everything, but I keep it to remind me, do it now, because one day I won't wake up to be able to do something that I've always wanted to do.
Yes, I'm not looking forward to those days. But
Yes,
anyway,
exactly,
in the
exactly.
meantime, and you never know, that might come when we're 103. I'm not sure.
Yes,
But
yes, yes. Correct, correct. And that's the case. Great.
yeah, but that's right. We've got to live, live each day as if
Yeah,
it's our
yeah.
last. If there's someone you haven't spoken to that you want to, is there a message you want to tell your children or your partners? Like, don't
Yeah.
wait, don't save it up. Do it now. Do it every
Yes.
day. What does it
Yes.
matter if I get an I love you from my mum every day? Um, you know, so we should. And you were saying that there's a leader that led you well, that asked you this question, and it's Sam Cawthorn, who, in actual fact, I've just read that then, um, we'll be doing, because I'm a body language expert, so we're about to do a big
Yes.
conference
I heard about
coming up
that.
in April as well,
I heard
just
about it.
before the retreat, just before the retreat.
Yes.
So I'll be flying to Sydney, then back to Auckland.
Yep.
Um, but during the boot camp, after you gave a speech and Sam gave you some
Yeah.
feedback, and he said
Yeah.
to you that you delivered the speech so beautifully, well framed, and was so close to being world class, that this feedback gave you chills to know and to grow, to step into the fear of the unknown.
Yes. Um, First of all, nobody has ever called me world class. At least I think. So to hear that, I was really surprised and just grateful and happy because I never planned on becoming a speaker. I did not know. I only met Sam about 4 months prior to that here in Irvine, California, because he came out with his team and they did this whole presentation. And I was like, you know what? I will I will go to your boot camp. I will spend the money and attend your 3-day boot camp and see what this is all about. And during that boot camp, day one, he asked about, there were a little over 30 of us in that room. You can only choose one position, out of all the things. And I didn't go in there thinking I was going to become a speaker. I never even planned on becoming a speaker. Never even thought of it. I'm like, okay, I want to become a pilot or those are things that I think about, right? But not a speaker. I thought I was going to become a coach on cultural intelligence. In any case, so that first day after he did his thing, I said, you know what? I checked off the box that said speaker in it. And then 2 days later, when we did that final presentation, that was when Sam shared that feedback.
Mm.
And I was just like, wow, okay, okay, this is it. This is a topic I am passionate about and I want to create a movement for. So it aligns with my values
Yeah.
and I want to help people, others. So why stop? What's going to stop me? I don't want to look back a year or two from now and say, why didn't I do this? Why? So here I am today.
And I think that's the important thing, Ellie. Thank you for sharing that. And for those that are listening, if there is something that you want to do, something that we don't even admit to ourselves sometimes, like deep inside somewhere, there was you. There was a reason you came to a speaker's boot camp, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
even if we don't want to admit it to ourselves in case, oh, what if I fail? But what if you succeed? Yeah.
Right.
And in failing is all the learning to get to
Right.
where you need to go. So I'm glad that you stepped into that. And you created a cross method, which is connect, recognize, observe, strategize, and shift. So as we
Yes.
wrap up this podcast today, before we go to the dice, I want to share those 3 tips that you've given in the book to empower her.
Yes.
Do you have your book with you?
Do I have it with me?
Yes.
You did give me a book, but I don't have it with me at this,
Okay,
like
all
right
right.
where I'm
No
sitting.
problems. All right. So the first one is embrace cultural authenticity as your superpower. So, in a few words, let us know, um, as their empowerment tip number 1, how do they do that?
So with that one, because sometimes when we likely want to get the job, we want to get the promotion, we want to be recognized, and oftentimes we're thinking that, oh, if this person could only see me as this or that. So now we're like shifting, right, ourselves to the point wherein some of us may even put aside some of our own belief systems or our values just to prove something else. But in reality, if you can now express your own authenticity, because with our own values, our own belief systems that are authentic to us, everyone else out there will recognize us for that. So
Yes.
it's not so much like, oh my goodness, I have to keep adjusting this person or this organization. But now it's okay. You can be yourself. And the right people or the right team or the right boss will recognize you for that.
I love that. Thank you. Number
Mhm.
two, you say master the invisible rules. Leadership requires decoding the unspoken cultural expectations. So creating that cultural GPS. And so very, very quickly, how do we master the invisible rules?
So when you are aware of more with experience, right? If you are amongst different cultures, be curious. Be curious to know that there are other ways of doing things that even admit we're not always going to be right or we may not be right. It's okay to listen to the others' points of views. Now, that is starts when we start to recognize and admit that we're not going to be we're not the only one whose opinion matters.
Yeah.
And that's what with cultural intelligence, especially now with business being so globalized, it may not just be your your boss or your employees, but even your customers and your vendors, the people outside of you, right? And then when you walk outside the door, it's your neighbor, it's your friends. So being curious to know more about, how others view things, not just what we know. Yeah.
Mm. All right, very good. And number three is protect your time with intentional boundaries. Leadership is fundamentally about resource allocation, and time is our most precious resource. I believe that as well. Um,
Thank you.
so when you're saying protect your time with intentional boundaries, would you like to let us know how we do that?
Yes. So in my culture before, I would say yes to everything and everyone. Um, it's like, oh, they probably think like I can keep doing everything and saying yes to everything, right? Other people. But yes, it's good to help. And this is not just about helping, but at the same time, we also have to think about our own sanity, um, our mental well-being, our health. Um, when you can say no in a way that is still respectful and just maybe even explain the reasoning behind it. Or if you don't want to, then you don't have to. But when you start to say no, you realize you have more time for other things to say yes to.
Oh, I love
So
that.
that is what that is what I'm really adjusting to now, because now, back then it was like, oh, people pleaser. That's kind of what I saw myself as, right? And that's in line with when I said that I wasn't being myself. I
Yeah,
was pleasing too many.
yeah.
I wasn't thinking about me. But
It's
now it's like,
interesting. Some of us just might be people pleasers because we love it too.
okay. And that's okay. If it aligns with your values, then let
Yes.
it be. Then that's who you are.
Yeah, yeah. Just for you out
Yeah.
there that might have positivity as one of your things and you love to share that,
Yes.
it's okay. But I
It's
absolutely
okay.
hear you. Saying
Yeah.
no provides more spaces sometimes for the yeses that you do want in.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's that is it really important. We're about to go to the roll the dice. So is there anything
Oh,
else that you would like to share with the audience before we wrap up?
I think I'm just so grateful. And I'm here today because of that first meeting in July. I'm not sure if I don't think you were there, Catherine, but it's because of Sam. And that's how I know you, because uh, you were I, you were at our boot camp. Yeah, there you go. And you were a facilitator at that time. So I would have never known, like again, that a year and a half later, here I am with you. So
Mm.
wow, it's just amazing. Just so grateful.
I just love the way the universe works. And,
Yeah.
and that was, I guess, that was from saying yes to things that you wanted to happen.
Yeah.
So congratulations. And
Thank
here's the
you.
big roll of the dice. What will we have today? Anyone listening?
Oh.
Try and see if you can guess the number that's going to happen. 5. Who got
5.
5?
All right. 5.
And your chapter's, what was it? 15. All right, let me have a little bit of a look here. 5. So this is the line in the sand. And we
Mm.
have spoken about that in your book. You were letting people know to do that. So let's have a look. The line in the sand, dice 5. What will you no longer tolerate in life, work, or relationships?
What will I no longer tell? Oh my goodness. Can I go get my notebook real fast? I'm
Yeah, of
so
course.
sorry. Just give me
Of
one
course.
second. I gotta run.
All right. So while Ellie goes to do that, because she obviously wants to be extremely authentic in her message, I'm just going to read this last little paragraph from Ellie. My journey from being a teenage mother, the breadwinner for a family of 6, experiencing homelessness, suffering
Wow. I
from
might be like,
anxiety and depression, which hasn't been covered here, to a global professional proves that you can come from anywhere, overcome tremendous obstacles, and achieve your goals. So back to the question, Ellie, and thank you for that inspirational last paragraph. So yes, what will you no longer tolerate in life, work, or relationships?
um, I wrote a few things, but I will not tolerate being judgmental. There you go. That's what I chose out of this list
Great.
that I have.
I love that. I love it. It is so important. In actual fact, when you stop judging others, yes,
Yeah.
um, and you don't hold grudges because you're no longer judging them,
Mhm.
that more things can come into your life that you want.
Yes.
Because when we hold grudges, it stops us from attracting what we want to. And
It's
most people don't
hard.
realize that. They do
Yeah.
the law of attraction, they do all these things and they're not working. It's because they're holding grudges against people because they
Exactly.
judge them for something. Um,
Yeah.
so so great. Awesome. I hope everyone out there is getting some nice little takeaways that, I always think take something, work on one thing over the next week before you listen to the next podcast, or before you read the next chapter. So here we are. We're ending today. Thank you so much, Ellie, for being with us, for sharing. I'm going to
Thank you,
end with your last
Catherine.
quote. Oh, thank you, Ellie. And it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you and meeting you around the world. Here is
Thank
our
you,
last quote.
Catherine.
Thank you. My struggle was the foundation for my expertise, and my commitment now is to ensure your path to leadership, life, and impact are clearer, more confident, and entirely authentic. Thank you, Elee Joven. And of course, you can get hold of Ellie if you use your phone. There's a QR code there. There's a QR code in the book. Reach out, connect, and find out more to lead that life worth living as well. So keep empowering until our next podcast. Speak soon.